Fortnitemares just had an insane announcement and it changes everything. So today, I'll show you everything we know about the Halloween event, from new mythics to collabs we've waited years for. The Red Cube is gonna kickstart this season, so what happens next? Everyone knows the Cube has had a major role in Fortnite because it always leads to Fortnitemares. This pattern has been happening since the very first chapter. Kevin introduced himself to the world and then rolled around the map just months before Halloween arrived and brought an entire Cube monster themed season with it. He spawned hundreds of these monsters on the island, had 2 different live events, and transformed into the first moving POI in Fortnite. Then he was responsible for taking us into the Cube Queens version of Fortnitemares in 2021, when yet another season was designed around him and the new sideways monsters from the Cube's realm. Then things got flipped on their head in 2023 when Fortnitemares was the one teasing Kevin. Just days after the Halloween event brought us Chapter 1 props to the map, we were taking OG where the floating island was waiting for us. So now we're in 2025, we have this guy in the map rolling around as we speak, and it's the Red Cube. It is basically following exactly what Kevin did back in the day, preparing to make his journey to Loot Lake, melt into it, and then transform into a floating island. But this time it's different. From red cube monsters to a new Storm King, and of course the largest Fortnitemares that we have ever seen, this is gonna span across countless modes and give us the most anticipated collabs of all time. So here's what's coming. Fortnite is going all out this year with the most demanding characters finally coming to the game. And one of the headliners is gonna be Jason Vorhees from Friday the 13th. He is simply one of the most iconic horror movie villains in history, and fans have been wanting it for a long time now. In fact, Epic Games have actually been wanting it for over a decade. Here in Save the World, we had Easter eggs referencing Jason and his hockey mask, and fans got their very first hint that he was coming over a year ago. You see, we all assumed he'd actually be here last year thanks to the Jason Universe account, which is an official Twitter dedicated to Jason's appearances in other games. They follow only 30 people like Call of Duty, Multiversus, the Friday the 13th game, and then surprisingly, Fortnite. From this, everyone thought he was coming, but Fortnitemares flew by with no Jason in sight. Here we are over a year and a half later, and leakers have revealed that he is becoming a headliner, not only confirming his outfit, but even showing a leak photo of his medallion. We all knew this would happen eventually, but the next confirmed leak is blowing our mind, and that's because Scooby-Doo is making its way to Fortnite next month. Ever since Multiversus shut down, the Mystery Inc. gang have shot up to become one of the most wishlisted collabs in Fortnite history, and it looks like Epic are listening. In fact, they've been teasing this for over a year. During Winterfest 2024, fans noticed a familiar sounding line when Sergeant Winter said, "I would've gotten away with it too if you had just been a little less meticulous." Like, even if you never watched Scooby-Doo, you already know what it's referencing.
Might have gotten away with it too. If it wasn't for these blasted kids and their dog.
Now, leakers have confirmed that the Mystery Machine will be included in the collab, and it's gonna be in the item shop as an SUV. I can't believe this is finally happening, because fans have wanted the van in the game for the longest time, and you could get your whole squad in there. So naturally, you'll probably get to play as Fred, Daphne, Velma, and Shaggy, but the whole show is named after Scooby, so how is that even gonna work? This is the perfect opportunity for Epic to debut the feature they've been working on all year long. Scooby-Doo might be one of our first crossover companions. And I know it's wishful thinking considering this feature was meant to release like 4 seasons ago, but it's gotta happen sooner or later, and now that Scooby-Doo is confirmed for this Halloween, there is no other way to bring him to the game. But what makes this collab extra exciting is that leakers have also revealed that Fortnite is going even further with this partnership. As you know, Scooby-Doo is owned by Warner Bros. It's why they played a huge role in Multiversus. But recently, we learned that Epic are currently working on a dedicated mode with Warner Bros, similar to what they're doing with Disney. When Multiversus shut down, Warner Bros said they were focusing on collabing with other games instead of making their own from now on. Fortnite is the perfect place to experiment, and it's gonna open the door for even crazier collabs. And listen to what we got next. He might be the most requested horror villain we've ever seen in Fortnitemares. That's right, Ghostface is finally coming to the game. Epic knows how long we've wanted this for, and that's why they're going all out to make this a one-of-a-kind collab. Because not only are we getting an outfit, but he's getting a custom mythic called the Stalker Knife that lets you truly become a slasher. It'll have a primary and secondary ability, along with a stalking mechanic that lets you straight up hear enemies by their heartbeat and then jump scare them with an attack. We're finally getting an item that makes you feel like a Dead by Daylight killer. And the fact we could get jump scared by other players now, this will be the scariest Fortnitemares of all time. Now, I mentioned earlier how some of the previous Fortnitemares have always had one thing in common. If Kevin is involved, we get cube monsters. Well, turns out that we still get these creatures even when he's not involved, all thanks to Horde Rush. Been a tradition for the past couple of years, with Fortnite introducing all kinds of new enemies every year for us to fight. And this year, they're adding a feature that Horde Rush fans have been wanting for the longest time, an endless mode. You'll be able to basically play Fortnite's version of COD Zombies this time around, with brand new bosses to fight like Kato Thorn, Cerberus, Shogun X, and Ultima Carver. There will also be rewards depending on how many cube monsters you wipe out. So how do you get them? Well, you're gonna progress through all 20 stages, earn buffs that make it easier to wipe out enemies, and I can only imagine that these monsters will be red instead of purple. Like, did you know that red cube monsters, they've already been in the game for over 4 years? Like, think about it, these guys who attack you from a distance, they had a distinct red color. But while we're playing this new Horde Rush and fighting some of the most beloved villains from over the years, we're also gonna get to equip more leaked collabs, including a potential LTM for one of the biggest horror franchises in the world. Because earlier this month, Epic Games updated the files with a brand new mode literally called Alien Romulus. This surprised everyone considering Romulus came out over a year ago, and right now fans are watching Alien Earth. However, there is a Romulus sequel currently in production, and considering this is a dev build, it actually looks like it's gonna be more than just outfits. This will probably be an entire LTM. And I'm really hoping it's like Alien Isolation because that would just be terrifying. Of course, if this is to happen in time for October, you could probably expect the return of the Alien collab, maybe even a second wave, and fans are desperate to see facehugger back blings. But also it'd be cool, be characters from the film like Andy and Rain, maybe even the offspring from the end of the movie, although I think that would be the most terrifying Fortnite skin in history, so maybe we're better off without it. And you might have noticed that recently, Fortnite's been going all out on cartoon skins with King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, we even just got Beavis and Butthead. They're not slowing down anytime soon though, because now that you know that Scooby-Doo is making its way to Fortnitemares, it might be joined by an unexpected collab. That would be He-Man and Skeletor from Masters of the Universe. All the way back in January, insiders revealed that both of these guys were coming to Fortnite in 2025, and just 2 weeks ago, Mattel announced they had released an official Masters of the Universe RPG in creative named He-Man Heroes. So combine the rumor, the new map, and the fact that Skeletor has shown up in Call of Duty, it all is leading up to a potential collab this Fortnitemares. It'll make perfect sense for these two to drop during Halloween, as they wouldn't exactly fit in during The Simpsons or Gala season, and people have been dressing up as these guys for Halloween for 2 decades now. I'll show you some even crazier crossovers Fortnite are planning, but of course, with a new Fortnitemares comes the return of the most beloved Halloween characters like Ash Williams. I've just learned that he is confirmed to be returning after 700 days thanks to his skin getting updated last month, and just like previous Fortnitemares, we'll probably see all of the classic horror characters returning. That means if you missed out, you'll get your hands on Leatherface, Jack Skellington, Michael Myers, and Billy the Puppet. It also means we'll get to play with the items that fans love, like the return of Leatherface's chainsaw, the vampire stake shotgun, and the pumpkin launcher. Leakers have also revealed that the witch's broom is coming back, but with a twist this time. Fans are not happy hearing it'll have durability, and I don't know what to make of that. But what's real interesting is that Fortnite is also bringing back the symbiote mythics from Chapter 2. I'll admit it kind of makes up for the broom thing, not gonna lie. Most of these returns are what we expect from Fortnitemares, but what are Epic gonna do this year that will shock us? Well, for starters, we could see an insane crossover that was accidentally leaked by the developers. How did this even happen? Let's roll things back to May, when the creators of Poppy Playtime dropped a press release announcing they were supercharging a global expansion. It's basically fancy corporate talk for Huggy Wuggy everywhere. In it, they mentioned they had partnered with tons of companies for merch around the world, but the truly special part is here where they say, a rapidly growing portfolio spans a wide spectrum of categories including blah 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 blah, like upcoming appearances in Minecraft and Fortnite to name a few. So hidden in this generic press release is official confirmation from Mob Games themselves that Poppy Playtime is coming to Fortnite. This was all the way back in May, and there's no better time for it to finally happen than this Halloween. After all, Fortnite always has one surprise collab up their sleeve, and recently they have loved collabing with indie games, whether it's Lethal Company, Goat Simulator, or just a few weeks ago, Deep Rock Galactic. What I'm trying to say is this time next month, you might be running around as Huggy Wuggy in Fortnite, and my mind is blown. But Fortnite has yet another surprise up their sleeve right now, as leakers just found out they're working on a secret dev build with a giant studio, Supermassive. If you haven't heard of them, you've definitely heard of their games like The Quarry, Little Nightmares, but obviously Until Dawn. Right now, we have no idea which of these will be the collab that's in the works, but if I had to bet, let's just say Little Nightmares 3 comes out this October, which is the exact same week that Fortnitemares releases. Other fans argue it could be a collab with Until Dawn, as the movie came out this year and they're trying to turn it into a giant franchise. So let me know in the comments what you think. And it's not just mind-blowing crossovers coming to Fortnitemares. What kind of POIs are we gonna see on the map? In the past, it's usually the headlining attraction of Halloween that gets its own place, whether it was Ash Williams bringing a 1-to-1 copy of the Evil Dead cabin, then Billy the Puppet got a POI named Freaky Fields. You know, there's always something new here, and well, we have some theories. This is easily the most stacked Fortnitemares in history, so it's hard to pinpoint the most famous character, but it's gonna be hard to create an iconic Scooby-Doo POI, and Ghostface doesn't really have a recognizable home, but you know who does? Jason Vorhees. Camp Crystal Lake. It's almost as famous as Jason himself, and it's the place he grew up in, died in, and then returned back to years later during the film. This place has shown up in so many pieces of media, and of course, it's inspired countless horror films. Fortnite is clearly gonna jump at the opportunity to make it a POI. After all, if the Evil Dead cabin is anything to go by, Crystal Lake is gonna bring the perfect atmosphere to Halloween. Now, what if they came out of left field with a totally unexpected POI instead? In that case, some cool ideas could bring Castle Grayskull as a location with Skeletor, or a crashed space station for alien Romulus. What most of you have been waiting for is the amazing original skins that are coming. Over the years, we've got some very creepy looking outfits, whether it's Mincemeat, Bogstick, even Peely Bone. Epic's Halloween skins never miss, and now we have our first look at what they're working on. Here we can see a pumpkin version of the Peabody skin from Chapter 5, and considering this was originally a Battle Pass skin, it'd be an amazing way to grab them if you missed out. Then we have a gold Skull Ranger with a pumpkin on her head, nothing too crazy, especially when you compare it to this reskin, a Spider Team Ranger. This would fit perfectly into the bug season. Also, take a look at this Butcher Pighead skin that's been in the surveys for a little while, and fans are hoping it drops this year. But I could see Epic skipping out on this one, considering Leatherface kinda does the job already. Many fans think that we're gonna see the Scarecrow Tomato Head get his debut next month, so could this be part of the return? And of course, the most typical skin they could add for Halloween will be this new concept, a creepy looking android with glitchy hands. Fortnite is doing this to roast AI images, and from how unsettling it is, I can totally see it being a part of the Fortnitemares lineup. It's also looking like Halloween is gonna bring us some infamous Batman villains, so who's coming? Recently, leakers confirmed that the Batmobile is coming to the item shop, which was pretty cool news by itself, but then they realized back in January, a credible leaker posted this. Basically a full list of 2025 Fortnite collabs predicting Miku, Avatar, One Punch Man, Borderlands, and a whole lot more. 70% of these have already come true, and in this list, you could spot Black Mask and the Riddler. Pair that with a confirmed Peacemaker collab and a new Batmobile, and we're on track for a surprise DC drop this Fortnitemares. Now we gotta move on to the live event teaser, because ever since the season began, this huge monolith has been standing tall in the mountains, and at first we had no idea what it meant. Was it storyline related? Some people even thought it was teasing a festival, but in a shocking turn of events, it's actually the collab that we all thought was canceled. This monolith is officially teasing the next live event that'll happen just in time for Fortnitemares, and it's a small Daft Punk concert. In this, players can make their own music video for around the world, and if you're in doubt this is related to Fortnitemares, just go look at the original music video, which shows mummies and skeletons. Like, it is all connecting right now. But keep in mind, this is not the true live event of Halloween. It's just a stop along the way. At the very end, we'll be treated to the Fortnitemares finale. So what do we know? This is gonna happen at the start of November, and will tie our current bug season with The Simpsons. Right now, fans have no idea how Epic is gonna possibly explain this, but you gotta admit, they always come up with some crazy reason. Or maybe they won't explain it at all and just throw us straight into Springfield. Comment below what you're excited for. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.